Let me put an end to this. First off, I want to say that I'm not interested in YouTube drama. That's not why I do YouTube. I understand that many people enjoy this element of social media or entertainment in general, but I like to retain a semblance of credibility. I retain to this day that Winston, me, Prozzy, or anyone that I film and edit with have ever attacked anyone. Keep that in mind while I explain what's happening. Now, I have to address the recent barrage of attacks, defamation, and misinformation going around about myself as well as Winston. There's been an onslaught of tweets and blog posts and comments and paid targeted videos on our channels with the purpose of exposing us. It's gone from the mild-mannered, "Stop smearing China, you white pig clown," to entire 30-minute videos that try and label us as the most despicable things in the world. Funnily enough, that's actually happened in a very short time frame, and it looks incredibly suspicious to me. It's safe to say that the Chinese government's international PR has failed. The Hong Kong protests have successfully put the world's eyes on what the government has actually been doing. China hasn't had a great human rights track record, but most people turn a blind eye to what China did domestically because the cheap goods make it all worth it. However, this is the first time that China has become a major international issue, and support for Hong Kong and the criticism of the Chinese government's treatment of its own people, especially in Xinjiang with the re-education camps, has become a household talking point. It's not only bipartisan support in the US, but people who have never had a strong opinion on China now are talking about the correct issues. I've never been a fan of how China was portrayed in the media in the past. It always seemed to be full of puff pieces which are written by fresh-off-the-boat journalists who are impressed by the glitz and rapid development that smash their preconceived notions of an impoverished China. It was either that or sensationalized articles that judged China with labels and Cold War-era paranoia. China's dangerous rise, threats of military conflict, and pinpointing criticism of China based on the actions of a few people, and creating unfair generalizations of China that painted the country in a negative light in a time where the country seemed to be changing for the better. And I'm talking about the early 2000s until around 2014. Now, attacks are nothing new, but this is how the evolution has progressed. Let me catch you up. Number one, it first started as the average Wu Mao, or paid internet troll, calling me names. Whatever. Number two, the forums started congregating and harassing my family and sending letters to my wife's job and trying to get her arrested. Number three was when they would call my places of employment in China and tell them that I was actually a spy. Number four was calling me a CIA agent tasked with undermining the Chinese government's legitimacy. That one always makes me chuckle. Number five was arresting my friend and putting him into political prison without a legitimate charge. This is not because of me, but I needed to remind everyone that both Canadian Michaels have not been released yet. Number six was swaths of articles in Chinese warning people who watch my videos that they are funded by the American government and that I'm a paid spy. If the American government is in fact listening or watching right now, I implore you to fund me. That would be fantastic. Number seven is Chinese YouTubers now using VPNs to accuse me of all these same things. The last one, the newest one, are Western YouTubers who have amassed all around the same time, attacking my character and having their videos paid for and showing up as ads on anything that me or Winston releases. Their claims are that it's racist to criticize the Chinese Communist Party because according to them, these foreigners, the government represents every single citizen. Now, getting threatened and attacked online isn't fun, but I started YouTube with one goal in mind: to share what I've witnessed and to explain some very big misunderstandings about China, both positive and negative, and all the in-between. That does sometimes involve me explaining why the Chinese government is doing what it's doing. I don't have to explain the laughable accusations like me being a CIA agent. CIA, I'm waiting for that gig, hook me up. But I do have to take serious objection to the accusations that it is in some form racist to have an opposing opinion to a government that operates like an oppressive dictatorship and has successfully blocked off the people that I care about from the outside world by blocking what they can say from both inside and outside of China. If you're supporting this government and its actions and its censorship, I won't call you racist. I won't attack you, but I will call you immoral. I have no desire for China to become like the West, but I do deeply care about the people that I've spent the past 10 years with, and I will continue to explain why things happen the way they do in China. The most important part of this video is an email that I received yesterday from my ex-student in China. I'll let him have a voice instead of me defending myself. The Chinese people who can't speak or form their own opinions because of the thought prison that the CCP has created are much more important than my reputation. Dear teacher, first, I'm sorry that my English is poor. I hope you're well. I am your student in your computer science class in 2016. I have been using a VPN to join programming forums like GitHub and other ones that are blocked in English because the information that I find is more useful than the ones in China. When you were our teacher, I always thought your lessons were really fun, and I learned so many resources to help me actually learn about computer science, not only from books. Some of my classmates said the same thing, but many of them just want to pass to get a job after university is over. I've been watching YouTube for 2 years now, and when I searched for China, I see your face. It was so funny to see how foreigners think about China, but sometimes I'm curious and I want to watch some news about the world. I watch BBC and many others, and I found out some things that I read in my local news are not matched. Also, I watch some videos from you and your friends, and I see some things that I notice in my life, but people don't talk about. These things are like pollution, the empty houses, the blocked internet. The news always says that China's problems are all the USA's and the West's fault. I started to get annoyed because some of my friends also say things like the CCP is great, and the West is bullying us, and why China is so good. I think China is good. It's my country. But when I saw your video, why I changed my opinion on China, I realized that I have the exact same idea as you. I showed the video to some of my friends, and 2 of them said, "Hey, that is the guy that smears China. What a bad guy." Then I showed them some other videos, and they said, "Oh, it's funny and not that bad." It opened a new topic for us, and we started to talk about how China's news and media has so many lies. We are used to the lies, though, but we became annoyed because we are blocked from seeing anything by the Great Firewall, and we have to use illegal VPNs to see anything. We are most annoyed because the government media likes to make all Chinese people look the same idea, same thinking, same everything. I've been doing more and more research these days, and I realized that in the past 4 years, I think my country is closing down and becoming like when my mom and dad were children. I ignored the news and posters about how good the government is, but I see so many now, and I feel like young people are becoming very hateful about everything, and even if they know the government is doing bad things, they defend it because we are China and we need to fight the world's ideas. I noticed that the Hong Kong protests in the news changed so many times. First, the Hong Kong people are just a few who don't like China, so they protest. Then it's more people, and they're brainwashed about Western news. Now they show most people are against the government, and the West changed their elections. Me and 2 close friends are too curious, and we went to Hong Kong. We can speak Cantonese, and we talked to some students because our friend is studying there. We learned so much about what really happened, and now we realize what we learned is full of so many lies. Many people in China now are not happy. Salary doesn't go up, and fewer people have an opinion about anything except China is good and we must suffer because the world hates us. I know this is not true. The reason I sent this to you is because I see some videos about you and your friends, and they say you are full of lies and paid to make messages that are not the truth. But I know that what you speak and what you know and your ideas are the same as mine. Actually, many of us agree with you, and we don't want China to become a jail like in Mao's time. I was surprised to see other foreigners making videos saying China is good and should block us to protect us from outside countries. These foreigners say our voice, not Chinese people. And they say the CCP is good, and they say you are wrong. I say, "F you, I'm so angry. You don't get to represent our ideas." Me and my friends spent so much time to make our ideas for ourselves, and you just say the same rubbish lies that the news says. We cannot talk or we get punished, but the foreigners can say the same lies our government says. I think they must have some reward for this because they know the truth. I want to say that most people will be scared and sad to make truthful videos like you if you always get hurt and smeared by these other people, but please don't stop. We must use so many tools like VPNs to see other ideas, and these foreigners and Wumaos want us to see more bullshit instead. They say people who are anti-China are racist, but many people only say that they don't agree with the Chinese government, like you. That is not racist. It is racist to be a foreigner who says Chinese people need to be controlled, and use foreigners to say CCP is good and lie to people. We Chinese people have our own ideas, and we are not all the same. I don't hate China, I don't hate my government, but I'm scared that the future is going to be more control and more lies. Foreigners can use YouTube and other stuff to say anything, but we can't. It's not fair, and it's not moral. If Chinese people say China is good and the West is bad, okay, they don't know enough information. But if foreigners say the Chinese government is good and everything outside is bad, that is a lie because they already know the truth. I don't know if you will use this letter in a video, but I allow you to, and I hope you do it. We love you, and we hope China can get better. We believe we can meet you again, and you will tell us that you want China to become better too.